Assalamu alaikum. This is Btv-Chattogram welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. Advisory Council gives final approval to draft of Supreme Secretariat Ordinance 2025. Armed Forces Day to be celebrated tomorrow through festivity and enthusiasm. Naval ship Protoy leaves Chattogram to participate in International Fleet Review in Colombo. Israeli attacks kill 30 Palestinians breaching ceasefire in Gaza. And Bangladesh firmly in control of second test against Ireland at Sher-Bangla National Cricket Stadium in Mirpur. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The Advisory Council has given final approval to the draft of the Supreme Secretariat Ordinance 2025. The approval came this morning at the regular meeting of the Advisory Council held at the office of the Chief Advisor. The meeting was chaired by Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus. Later, Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Advisor Asif Nazrul and the Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shofiqul Alam briefed the media at the Foreign Service Academy in the capital regarding the overall outcomes of the meeting. The law advisor said that the final approval of the draft Supreme Secretariat Ordinance will ensure the independence of the judiciary. He stated that from now on, the recruitment and transfer of lower court judges, as well as the control and discipline of the courts, will be entrusted to the Supreme Court Secretariat. He further said that the Referendum Act will be enacted within the next 3 to 4 working days.
ঐক্যমত্য কমিশনের অংশগ্রহণকারী আলোচনায় অংশগ্রহণকারী সকল দল এটাতে সম্মত হয়েছে। সকল দল এটাতে একমত যে বিচার বিভাগের পূর্ণ স্বাধীনতা প্রতিষ্ঠা করার জন্য সুপ্রিম কোর্টের একটা পৃথক সচিবালয় রাখবে। তো পৃথক সচিবালয়ের একটা আইনের নীতিগত অনুমোদন আমরা এর আগে একটা উপদেষ্টা পরিষদের মিটিংয়ে করেছিলাম। আজকে আমাদের মাননীয় প্রধান উপদেষ্টার সভাপতিত্বে অনুষ্ঠিত উপদেষ্টা পরিষদের বৈঠকে এটা চূড়ান্তভাবে অনুমোদিত হয়েছে। বিগত ফ্যাসিস্ট সরকার আমলে প্রচণ্ডভাবে আমরা দেখেছি নিম্ন আদালতে যারা বিচারক থাকতেন তাদেরকে আইন মন্ত্রণালয় কন্ট্রোল করত। আইন মন্ত্রণালয়ের ইচ্ছায় নিম্ন আদালতের বিচারকরা জামিন দিবেন কি দিবেন না, সাজা দিবেন কি দিবেন না, এই ধরনের সিদ্ধান্ত নিতেন। এমন অনেক অভিযোগ আমরা শুনতাম, এমন অনেক কিছু আমরা দেখতাম। তো এই অবস্থার অবসান ঘটবে। এই অধ্যাদেশ পরিপূর্ণভাবে কার্যকর হওয়ার পর নিম্ন আদালতের বিচারকদের উপর আইন মন্ত্রণালয় তথা সরকারের আর কোনো কন্ট্রোল থাকবে না। সম্পূর্ণভাবে এটা উচ্চ আদালত তার সচিবালয়ের মাধ্যমে বিষয়গুলো দেখাশোনা করবে। আমরা বিধান রেখেছি সচিবালয় সম্পূর্ণভাবে কার্যকরী হওয়ার পর সরকার সুপ্রিম কোর্টের সাথে পরামর্শক্রমে এই অধস্তন আদালতের বিচারকদের উপর তত্ত্বাবধান এবং অধস্তন আদালতের উপর তত্ত্বাবধান, নিয়ন্ত্রণ এবং শৃঙ্খলার বিষয়াদি উচ্চ আদালতের হাতে ন্যস্ত করা হবে। আশা করছি আমরা উচ্চ আদালতের সচিবালয় কয়েক মাসের মধ্যে সম্পূর্ণ কার্যকর হয়ে যাবে, গঠন করা হয়ে যাবে। এরপর থেকে নিম্ন আদালতের বিচারকদের নিয়ন্ত্রণ, তত্ত্বাবধান, শৃঙ্খলা এবং ছুটির বিষয়াদি সম্পূর্ণভাবে উচ্চ আদালতের সচিবালয়ের মাধ্যমে পরিচালিত হবে। সরকারের আর কোনো কন্ট্রোল থাকবে না।
In the case filed for crimes against humanity over the killing of 7 people, including the burning of 6 bodies in Ashulia Shawar during the July mass uprising, the cross-examination of Police Sub-Inspector Sheikh Afzalul Haq, who testified as a prosecution witness, has been completed. The next hearing is scheduled for November 26th, This morning, the cross-examination began before the three-member judicial panel of International Crimes Tribunal II, headed by Justice Nozrul Islam Chaudhry. The other members of the tribunal are retired District and Sessions Judge Mohammad Manjurul Burshid and District and Sessions Judge Noor Mohammad Shahriyar Kabir. Lawyers for the accused cross-examined Sheikh Abdul Haq, the prosecution witness. Earlier, yesterday, the tribunal recorded his testimony. In his statement, Sheikh Abdul Haq apologized to the families of the martyrs and to the tribunal. Armed Forces Day will be celebrated tomorrow through various programs amid festivity and enthusiasm marking the establishment of Army, Navy, and Air Force during the 1971 Liberation War. The day's programs will begin with offering of special prayers after Fajr prayers at all mosques in all the cantonments and naval and air force bases throughout the country on the day, seeking divine blessings for the well-being and prosperity of the nation and progress of the armed forces. On the occasion, President Mohammad Shahabuddin, also the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces Division, AFD, and Chief Advisor of the interim government, Professor Dr. Muhammad Yunus, issued separate messages. On the eve of the day, the President and the Chief Advisor will place wreaths at the Shikha nearby at Dhaka Cantonment on Friday morning, paying homage to the members of the martyred armed forces who made their supreme sacrifices in the War of Liberation in 1971. Subsequently, Chief of Army Staff General Waqar Zaman, Navy Chief Admiral Muhammad Nazmul Hassan, and Chief of the Air Forces Air Chief Marshal Hassan Mahmud Khan will also lay wreaths there on behalf of their respective forces. The chiefs of the three services will also pay a courtesy call on the Chief Advisor at the Department of Armed Forces Division and later the President of the Republic in the Bongo Bhavan on the day. On the occasion of Armed Forces Day 2025, the Chief Advisor will accord a reception to family members of Bir Shrishtos and selected Gallantry Award-winning 1971 veterans and their family members at the Army Multipurpose Complex in the Dhaka Cantonment. At this time, the Chief Advisor will distribute greeting cards and exchange greetings with the 101 selected Gallantry Award-winning freedom fighters and their hires. To mark the day, the Chief Advisor will host a reception at Shinakunj of Dhaka Cantonment tomorrow. Besides, reception program will be organized at Borishal, Cox's Bazar, Bogura, Sylhet, Ghatail, Chattogram, Joshua, Rangpur, and Kunla cantonments and bases under the management of the respective areas' headquarters. Meanwhile, to celebrate the day with due dignity, various programs will also be held at other Army garrisons, naval ships, and installations and Air Force bases of the country outside Dhaka. Specially equipped naval ships in Dhaka, Kunla, Chandpur, Borishal, and Chittagong will be kept at the nearby accord for the public. BNP Standing Committee member Amir Khosru Mohammad Chaudhry urged the interim government to rule the country modelled on the caretaker government system until the upcoming national election. He made the call today at the discussion titled Crisis Time, Savior and Martyred President Ziaur Rahman, held at the Jatiya Press Club. Bangladesh Crime Reporters Unity and the Bangladesh Private University Teachers Council jointly organized the discussion. Bangladesh Private University Teachers Council advisor Professor Mohammad Tawfiqul Islam Mithil chaired the function, while leaders of the organization and central BNP leaders also spoke. Amir Khosru further said that the Supreme Court verdict restoring the caretaker government system in the Constitution is an achievement of the BNP's long political struggle. Now, international news. At least 4 Palestinians have been killed in separate Israeli air attack in Khan Yunis earlier in Wednesday. At least 30 Palestinians have been killed in a wave of Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip in one of the largest breaches of the United States brokered ceasefire that came into effect last month. The Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza said on Wednesday at least 77 Palestinians were also wounded in Israeli bombardment. Al Jazeera said the Israeli attacks targeted 3 specific sites, including southern Gaza's Al-Mawasi area near Khan Yunis. Israel also struck a junction in the eastern Gaza City area of Shujaia, filled with displaced Palestinians' families, and a building in the Zitown neighborhood, where at least 10 people, including an entire family, were killed. Gaza's regional authorities say nearly 400 violations of the ceasefire agreement implemented on 10 October 2025 have been documented so far. As of 18 November, a total of 393 incidents were recorded, including air and artillery strikes, attacks on residents and their homes, and assaults across various areas. Authorities further stated that since the ceasefire began, Israeli forces have killed 279 Palestinians, injured at least 652 others, and unlawfully detained 35 more. Palestinians officially warn that Israel's actions are undermining prospects for stability in the region and have been called on mediating nations to increase pressure on the Israeli government. As the UN climate conference COP30 will officially end on Friday, the host country of the conference, Brazil, is making a strong effort to announce an agreement based on a comprehensive agreement at the last minute. They have started full-fledged negotiations with various parties and groups last Monday. Brazil has announced plans to make this agreement in 2 stages. The main goal of COP30, which began on November 10th in the city of Belém, near the mouth of the Amazon River, was to strengthen the existing UN structure to curb greenhouse gas emissions and combat the damage caused by temperature increases. Major differences still remain over one of the main sources of greenhouse gases, such as fossil fuels. Turkey will be the next host country of the climate conference COP31 in 2026. Back to national news. Bangladesh is participating in the International Fleet Review to be held in Colombo to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Sri Lankan Navy. This fleet review will continue from November 27th to November 30th. High-level representatives, observers, military experts, and naval ships from different countries of the world will participate in the program. Bangladesh Navy ship Protoy left Chattogram today to participate in this international fleet review. A program was organized at the naval berth in Chattogram port on the occasion. Commander of Chattogram Naval Region, Rear Admiral Muhammad Moinul Hassan, was present as the chief guest at the program. Local senior naval officers and families of officers and sailors traveling on the ship were present at the time. A total of 150 naval personnel, including 29 officers, are going to Colombo under the leadership of Captain Tauhidul Haq Bhuiya, the commander of Bangladesh Navy ship Protoy. The Navy sources said this will be an important milestone in developing diplomatic relations between the participating countries, preventing various criminal activities including piracy, drug and smuggling, human trafficking, and illegal fishing at sea. In the past years, the Bangladesh Navy has shown professionalism and expertise by participating in the International Fleet Review of various countries, which has brightened the image of the Bangladesh Navy and the country to the outside world. Speaking as the chief guest, Commander of Chattogram Naval Region, Rear Admiral Muhammad Moinul Hassan said, "The Bangladesh Navy has been established as a symbol of regional solidarity by regularly conducting various international exercises, training, and joint operations with friendly countries. Through this visit, it will be possible to strengthen friendly diplomatic relations and regional maritime security issues between the participating countries, including Bangladesh, as well as improve the professional standards of the naval members." After the International Fleet Review, the ship is scheduled to return to Chattogram on December 5th. Noise pollution is a big nuance in civic life. When city dwellers come to the road, the sound of hydraulic horns of hundreds of cars and the terrifying roars of engines create an undeniable and unbearable environment. Noise pollution is also created from factories' train whistles. In addition to sick people, healthy people also face mental and physical problems every day. Similarly, patients suffering from different complicated diseases, particularly the cardiac patients, also face severe health problems. From alleys to main roads, the unbearable sound of car engines or the loud scream of hydraulic horns, the sound of hundreds of car horns and traffic jams create a hellish environment that is making healthy people and healthy public life unbearable. Psychiatrists opine that due to noise pollution, even healthy people are gradually becoming sick. Sound pollution causes serious mental problems. In addition to enforcing the law against this, doctors are calling for avoiding noise pollution to remain healthy. Exposure to loud noises increases the health risks and stresses blood pressure, and heart diseases. According to the World Health Organization, prolonged exposure to noise above 60 decibels causes hearing problems, while the tolerable level for humans is 40 decibels. But the sound level of the hydraulic horn of a locomotive banned in 2017 is more than 120 decibels.